Saturday morning, wasn't it? You're doing it here. Welcome to Museum Live. That name was come up by James Ewing. That's put a lot of thought into that. Yeah. Museum Live. Works anyway. Right, before we get cracking, who's come on bikes? Who's actually going up? There's quite a few. I'll tell you what, fair play to you. It's warming up to Silver Ride, isn't it? And some nice stuff out there. Been on a quick walk, really nice. Right, I'll get him on stage. My partner in crime. Not so much these days because he's got really famous since his jungle exploit. He's gone from being a Z-lister to kind of a B-lister now, I reckon. He's on telly most of the time doing all sorts of cooking programmes and through the keyhole and all sorts of stuff. But to me, he's still my best mate and 7 times world champ, Fogarty. With any of that jungle stuff or anything else motorbike related. Don't get around here, it's an health and safety issue. Can you imagine if that had broken and one had stuck up his backside and played with it? That way, not you had an accident, not your fault.
Morning everybody anyway, sorry, it's still morning, is it? Yeah, it is.
About 10 minutes ago, Carl had something presented to him that's quite special to him. Do you want to see it? Oh, yeah. This is a bike that started out his 2-wheel career, and the Motorcycle Museum have taken a wreck of Carl that Carl got the bike given back after donating to a sort of local collection when he finished with it, and the museum's now restore it for him. Do you want to go and get it?
Yeah.
Have a look at
my
this.
first ever bike.
Have a look at this.
Lovely restored by the kind of people at the Motorcycle Museum. Where is it? Let's see it.
Can you tell what it is yet?
Years on it. Oh shit! Oh. It's not good. Hang on, let's wheel it around. There we go. Yeah, can I get on it there? Look at that. How cool is that? Hang on. It's a bit heavy for me. There we go. First ever bike restored. 2 fires ago.
That's what's starting on.
We get goosebumps looking at that now. 50 years ago.
Cute, isn't it? Can you see it at the back? It's little. It's really little.
Yeah, 4 years ago, like for my birthday, for my 10th birthday, and yeah, the guys restored it for us. After I got it back earlier on this year, after a kind of businessman in Northwest, Dale Winfield of Aston, and I gave it to him. I forgot I gave it to him, to be honest, about 25 years ago. It was wrecked then. It was in between 2 garages, like with sort of nettles and stuff growing through it. And I gave it him, forgot all about it.
Yeah, this is it. This is the condition it arrived in.
Yeah.
It's quite a grainy picture anyway.
I said he unfortunately died of cancer earlier on this year, and he obviously knew he was going to die, and he's kind of listened to his wife when I go give Carl his first ever bike back, and I got it back in actually the state that I gave it him. He never did anything with it, to be honest. So yeah, I tweeted about it, and then James got in touch, and yeah, the guys have restored it. Yeah, it's weird.
I bet that's better than ever when you had it.
Yeah, because when I got it, it was passed down to me. It's called a Motor Chris, you can see on the tank. It was built for a lad called Chris Martin. He used to race actually, Chris Martin, I don't know what remembers him.
Scott Bandit rider eventually, wasn't he?
They did, yeah. His dad was a Honda dealer in Blackburn, so hence the name Motor Chris, and he obviously outgrew it. My dad bought it off him for 200 or 300 quid over it all back then, and my 10th birthday, 20 years ago.
Spoiled bastard. I'll say spoiled bastard, that's what I say. I never really did that, I had to make my own. Right then, so, how's life now? I know that I don't see as much of you now because you're too busy doing celebrity things and getting invited to premieres and doing all sorts of TV programmes.
Yeah, it's been busy. I mean, obviously, you know, this time last year I was just about to go into the jungle, and thanks to probably a lot of you guys in here, I won the bloody thing, and yeah, life's changed. I'll say it's changed a lot. I would never allow it to change. I've kind of gone through that 15 years ago when I maybe changed, and not for the better, most would say. So I won't let that happen again, but it's been an enjoyable year. I've been obviously asked to do a lot of things, TV stuff, some fun, some interesting, and yeah, a lot of personal appearances. It's a bit busy, but I really enjoyed it, and yeah, it's great for my sport, I think, and I think I'm in a place in my life now where I enjoy, meeting the fans, meeting the people a lot more than when I did first time around, which is sad to say, really, but that's how I was the first time around I was racing. I was like that, I was all wrapped up in a little world, thinking about the next race and wanting to win all the time, but I wasn't the easiest person to be around, but I'm obviously a bit of a different person these days, and but it's been a great year getting around seeing a lot of people.
Do you find that there's a lot of people who don't even, who know you now, not through bikes, who don't even know or watch motorcycle racing when you were racing for them? It's been a while now.
Yeah, I mean, the reason I went into judo in the first place is because I was well known and famous in the life for what I did on 2 wheels. That's why I got asked to win. But yeah, nowadays, all the blokes you recognise who you are from bike racing. It's all the young kids and the girls go, it's the jungle man, you know what I mean? So it's there's a bit of a new audience out there, but it's all good. So I'll put your name down, should have come dancing next year anyway. So.
I'm not kidding you,
I'll send you throw some shade.
No, I'm a really good dancer. Can you imagine? But the strictly come dancing thing is alright, because if you go in there and you're a bloke, it don't matter whether you can dance or not, you get to cling on to some massive Russian big titted. So, I'll put myself down for that. If I lasted a week, that'd be enough. You find time to ride bikes, I know you ride a bit more motocross.
Yeah, you know what, I've been getting out on the off-road bike quite a bit. In fact, just messed my knee up, unfortunately. I did some motocrossing a few weeks ago. I didn't actually fall off the bike, but I landed bad off a jump, put my leg down, twisted my knee, so not settled down at all. I had some scans on it, damaged the cartilage, torn it again, so I'm going on Wednesday, I've the cartilage sorted out. But yeah, I find I love riding bikes more now than I did when I was racing, sort of thing. Racing was a job. I just wanted to win so much that I didn't really enjoy riding bikes, but now I just love bikes. I just love getting out on the road bikes. When I get a chance to, a little bit of kind of, I don't like the classic kind of stuff now, retro kind of flat track, kind of, like cool kind of looking triumphy kind of, American flat track style of bikes. I love all that kind of stuff. I've got 2 bikes home that built like that. Yeah, and a lot of off-road stuff really, so, but like you like your bikes, so you've got quite a few bikes.
Yeah, I'll have a shed time. We've got a few restorers in the audience. You like to get the gentleman, I'm thinking. I'm not looking for ladies' hands. I'm never thinking shed time. What the? But yeah, I think you tend to like the bikes that you were interested in or had as a kid or wanted as a kid. So for me, that is stuff like, I guess, late 60s, early 70s. Japanese two-strokes through to sort of mid-80s. So my stuff was more or less GTs, RDs, LCs, that sort of thing. And mostly two-strokes, I like my two-strokes. Don't know why. I've got 4-strokes and most of my racing career was on 4-stroke superbike, super sport. But to me, I think that being brought up in the era that I was, two-strokes have a little bit of...
It's funny because I'm obviously the same year as you, but I'm kind of like, I didn't...
4-stroke, aren't you?
I like more like the Triumph, like the bodybuilders, like the BSAs, and like stuff like Steve McQueen, that kind of flat, American 70s flat track kind of style looking stuff, man. I love all that.
Yeah, I
more than
the
80s stuff,
Both me and Carl were down at the Triumph's new range launch, down at a real cool place in London called the Bike Shed. It's really cool. They call it, apparently, I didn't get it, you probably won't, the building is what you call industrial chic. Right? What that means is, you couldn't be asked to put any plaster up walls, right? Because it's just brick and chrome and stainless steel, and it's a really cool building. And we went down there for this, the launch of the new bodybuilder range, really, and they are really cool, and I do love that sort of thing. I've got past the stage now where I want 200 horsepower on the road, because I don't want to hurt myself, I don't want to hurt anybody else, and I don't want to lose my licence, and that's the 3 things that will probably happen within about a week of me having a 200 horsepower sports bike. So I'm into the sort of cooler, older stuff. I've got sort of 60 sort of scrambler type things made out of modern bikes that I ride a bit. But my thing's mostly two-strokes. So like I said, I'm just on with an RS 250 Honda 1990 that's coming up really nice. So yeah, just finished a X7. So yeah, that's the type of thing.
Well, you crashed a few, didn't you?
I wanted to. Yeah, it's all part of the job. But I mean, you look back at your racing career. I don't know what you do. You probably look back at your world champions. Your world championships has been the highlights, obviously. But
you like the crashes?
Yeah, I quite like the crashes. No, I did. Racing a motorbike was I looked at it as an exciting thing to do, and I looked at it as it was a little bit different. You know, you race a motorbike, that's not a 9 to 5 job, there's a certain coolness in that, and I've never been cool at anything else. And I like the idea that I could fall off a motorbike and get back on one, and people saw that as a thing that was kind of, you know, a respectful thing. Yeah, I like it, didn't mind me crashing. Looking back, I look back at all my career as, I didn't do what you did, but I still look back at it as, even the bad bits weren't that bad. All right. Waking up with the crowd around me is a brilliant thing, but 3 weeks later, when the pain's gone, it's alright. Really?
Every time I used to race, every time I raced on a road circuit in like late 80s with late 80s, and every time there crash, it was always him, and it was every circuit, the most dangerous circuits in the world. Usually the most dangerous corner on that circuit, it would be him who crashed. And then I remember Northwest 200. I came to, I think the corner was called Station Corner, and it was really fast, kink, almost flat out. I came to the corner, the flags are out, and my bike, it's gone right through the hedge, and I thought, whoever that is, you know, it's probably gone. And you just see him, with his long neck kind of thin, covered in mud, walking back across the field. No, again, he's done it again.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Oh, remember it? Yeah, technically though, that wasn't my fault. I had a suspension collapse on me.
No, seriously?
Yeah, but it was my own fault really, because
Did you know about it?
Well, the bike I were on was a J6i, you had to get a ground clearance in those days. Engines were a lot bigger than the 4-strokes. And it kept decking out on the faster stuff, so I kept jacking the shock up, and the only way you could adjust the ride out and then was unscrew the actual eye out the bottom of the shock, and I knew he only had about a thread and a half left in there. So it's kind of done my head, so I'm going down to this corner that, like Cal said, it's flat in fifth, so it's 125 mile an hour or whatever, it's fast enough anyway. And I remember as I braked, it kind of lifted the back up and then dropped back down, because you only just touch them and then you're in. And it just collapsed and went straight on. And I remember thinking, you don't have much time. I know people say, oh, I saw my life flash in front of me, it all took it a long time. Mate, it went quick. I remember hitting the road and thinking, oh, this is it, you've done it now. And that's all that time to think. But then, I made it towards not a bush, it was like a hedge. Yeah, like a hedge. It was like a hedge with branches in that are kind of, you know, 3 inches across. That'll kill you. I mean, you're not going through branches that big without getting your flipping back road or something. But the way I kind of went down, I'm sliding behind the bike, and the weird thing was the bike bounced off the curb, went straight through the hedge, and made a nice little hole. And I went rattling straight through the door and ended up in a field full of mud and just thought, well, that's nice. That was alright, no mark up, no mark. Only just booked the stage. That was it.
Every time. It's just later that year I was at Scarborough. My first ever got to town with Scarborough, and I borrowed a bike from a guy called Mark Johns, a superbike. So my first ride on superbike would have been, I think you'd have been on superbikes that for the first time that year. That year. And I was near the back of the grid somewhere. Again, I got away at the start, and I don't know what it was, a big pack or something. It came out the top hairpin before you come down. What's the top hairpin called? Is it called mirror hairpins?
Mount Side.
Mount Side. Anyway, it's right at the top of the circuit, and after that you can, what could be described as like long kind of downhill, almost like a red black run on a ski run, just with these kind of jumps. I came down and hit like the second or the third one, which is probably the fastest one. Again, there's flags out waving everywhere. And I just noticed there's bits of bike all over the place. I mean, everywhere. Just bike everywhere. And again, it's him just sat in the grass holding his arms and
yeah,
the bike, I think it got off into trees.
Yeah,
just smashed 1,000 pieces.
Yeah, there's no left of it. Think what about that? It wasn't even my bike now. And you know how they say that if you think that you fell off somebody else's bike, that's better than smashing your own, but it isn't. You feel so bad. I want a factory ride about it, and I borrowed this thing off Suzuki through the fact that Mick Grant had just finished racing a couple of years before for Suzuki. You call it a brand ambassador now, but really he was just basically trying to sell Suzuki still, even though he retired 2 years before. And he got Suzuki to lend me a bike. He wouldn't have done that if it hadn't been for him, because they didn't know me, and when I went to pick it up, they supplied this super stock bike. It's what became super bikes really, super stock bike, proper wheels and tyres. When I wheeled it out their workshops, which were then down in Crawley, the mechanic at the time, who strangely enough hated me at the time, he didn't know who I was, and he didn't want me having this bike, but he'd been told to let me have it. He became my mechanic several years later, and I got on really well with Nike. But anyway, he gave me this bike, and I remember his last words as I wheeled it into my mate van, he said, he's got new tyres on, when you bring it back, he wants new tyres on, please. Wheel it in. So, 2 weeks later, I was Scarborough, and there's a big jump. And the problem there was, I shouldn't have technically been at the front of the pack, but I'd made a really good start. And Scarborough's that narrow that if you make a good start, it's getting past you, but it's very difficult to pass. Literally, it's narrow. So I was still in the lead after a lap and a half, and I thought, I've just got to go quick. I've just, wait, first lap. Yeah. I've just got to go quick, I've got to go quick. So I hit this big rise about 20 mile an hour faster than I hit it all practice, and it took off. And I'm the old school, you know now, motocross riders can control the bike in the air by putting the brake on and revving it up and do all this.
What point did you think it was going wrong with this?
As soon as the wheels left the floor, I realised there may be an issue. Because you don't know whether to, sometimes a lot of places in the Isle of Man are like this, where your bike takes off going really fast. You're going 120 and your bike's going to take off, and you don't know whether to sort of roll it off, keep constant throttle, or some people say you power over it to stop the rear end to overtake the front end. And I hit this thing, and as soon as I took off, it kind of nosedived like that. And I knew at that point it was going to be a really bad landing, but I didn't know how. And I didn't know whether to, it went through my mind I should dig my elbows into my knees to try and cling onto it for when it landed. Or the other thing I could have done was let go and bail off. And I think I went for the latter and kind of let go. As it landed, it went into this huge tank slapper and threw me off. And there's a banking on this side and then dropped down on that side with trees everywhere. And I remember the bike went into the banking, boom, it went up in the air with bits coming off it, landed on me and broke my arm as it landed, but then bounced into the trees, still doing about 80, 90 miles an hour, and kind of pinballed around, ding, 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 went around the trees and smashed itself in a million pieces. And we were only just up the road from the start and finish. The start and finish was only a couple of 100 yards down, so red flags went out and everybody stopped on the grid, and the only one not on the grid was me. So my mechanic at the time, a guy called Zach, a really good mate of mine now, ex-racer, he knows I'm not there. So he starts running back up the track, and as the marshals are attending to me and I know my arm's broke and I'm a bit knocked about, and I could see my mate's head appeared, he says, "You alright?" I went, yeah, I'm alright, I think I broke my arm. And my first concern was, I'm sat there and they're putting a big brace on my neck, I couldn't look to the side. And I says to Zach, make sure you get everything, make sure you get the bike back, we've got to repair it and give it back to Suzuki. Remember, at this point of it, he described it, if you ask him now, he describes it as, you know, have you ever watched this thing on Discovery Channel called Air Crash Investigation? And when an airplane crashes, there's what's called a debris field, right? Going out from the point of impact. He said it was like that, he said bits everywhere. So I went to hospital with a broken arm, and it was compound fracture, so it was quite a nasty one. I got that plate and picked up. A week later, I get out of hospital. And before the days of mobile phones, so I hadn't even spoke to Zach. Went back home where Zach had left and locked up my work van, hauled into the house, got the keys off my mum, opened the back door, like that of the van, and there was, I could only describe it as a pyramid of shit. Just a pyramid. And there was every single part of that bike there, but none of it usable, nothing. He couldn't use anything.
What were the tyres like?
Do you know what I did? I bought some brand new Astrolites, put some new Michelin tyres on and sent them back to Suzuki. Luckily, they didn't see the funny side, but they didn't want the money for the bike, so... And after that, I ended up riding for them anyway, so... But yeah, it was a nasty one, that. But I think one of the things that people don't realise now is... me and Carl were right at the era of... just at the end of the era where... if you went racing motorbikes, you started at Carnival with Retford Club, or you started with Auto 66 at Carnival, or whatever, but you naturally aspired to go road racing. If you got good enough at club racing, you wanted to do Manx, and if you weren't good enough at Manx, you wanted to do the TT, and you wanted to do the Ulster and the North West. I think now it's a bit different, isn't it?
Yeah, I just think actually 30 years ago, when we met, it was 85.
About 2 months ago, 30 years ago.
30 years ago, we both did the Manx Grand Prix, didn't we? Yeah, well, both novices. That was the first time I met James. Which was...
he loves telling this story.
No, it was entertaining. It was an entertaining lap, wasn't it? Really?
Yeah.
But yeah, and we're both here today after that lap, I don't know. None of us have got a clue where we're going. Both orange jackets on it. And it was damp as well.
But you never told me anything then, I'll just say it.
But I remember we did the lap, and obviously I was first on the line, like you said.
This is at the Manchester Grand Prix.
And in the race, I won the race, obviously. And he wasn't in the results. And I thought, no, that's that lad, James Whitham.
Guess where I was?
You know, after that lap we did, I didn't know, he went straight back out again, real fuel, went straight back out, and fell off over a mountain, broke his arm, so he didn't race, so yeah.
Now broke the collarbone, and it wasn't that bad. I mean, there's probably many people in this room broke the collarbone.
That's my first ever crash at the collarbone.
Yeah, and it's not a bad thing.
Camel Park, 1984.
Which corner?
The hairpin.
How did you?
In short circuit, yeah.
I'd have picked a faster corner than that to go down. So I broke the collarbone, that's all I did. And I thought, I still might be alright to race, because this was on Thursday afternoon. We weren't racing till, a few days after that. I thought, I might still be alright to race. So anyway, I'll go back to Paris with my 11 on, and I'm going to go out. And somebody obviously brought me to, quite rightly, to race control. And they said, I've got to go for a medical. And went up to see this course doctor. They said, you're off on Thursday. Yeah. What do you do? Broke the collarbone. He said, that's fine, all right. Yeah. He said, right, 5 press-ups. Right, okay. Got down like that, and then I said, can you help me get up? Couldn't get up. He said, you're not riding. I know. But yeah, the hospital thing, I spent, I think, 3 days in hospital because I'd lost a bit of skin and I was concussed.
Which corner did you crash out? I don't even know where you were.
Bungalow. Ended up on tram lines. But anyway, the hospital was, he might have won the Manx Newcomers race, and I think he even might have won the flipping 250 Open as well.
No, I didn't win that.
Second as well.
Third one. That's slap though.
Yeah. But while I was in hospital, I got to know a really nice nurse in there.
She couldn't have been that nice.
Took her out for a couple of times, after a couple of weeks afterwards as well. So you might have got a Manx Grand Prix Newcomers winners trophy. Back a couple of shags out of it. I'll tell you what, I'm going back, and if I do the same again, I'll be off the show. Of all the places you race, which is pretty much every circuit in the world, the road circuits, your Suzuka 8 Hour, whatever else you did, you won a World Endurance Championship with a 3-man team. What would you say was your best ever ride? What would you look back on as your fondest race memory?
Just single race, not.
Yeah,
that's
it's a championship, no?
Yeah, but I got asked this about 10 years ago, probably less actually, now with MCN, it must be an anniversary, and yeah, it's, can you pick a race out that you won? And I just thought about it, and I ended up saying the TT, and saying winning the senior TT.
Why did you go on read too much?
I was brought up there as a kid, back in the 70s now, my dad was racing there, he was racing there in the 60s, and that was like the family holiday for me, for us as a family. We went there for 2 weeks, got a week off school, which is even better. And yeah, I was just sitting out of hotels and amusement arcades, always getting into mischief and things like that, and, as you do as a kid. But just being around the Isle of Man, being at the road circuits and Sutherland and even the Irish ones as a kid, and helping me down and signaling and being around. So I think that's where it goes back to, really,
You never quite good, were you? Dad was Rossi finished at TT, wasn't
he? Yeah, he did well at TT. He had some bad luck a lot of years, but I mean, he finished second behind Joey, which is obviously an incredible thing to do, and that was Joey's first ever win in 77, we'd have a second.
7 laps,
was it?
Joey TT, yeah, 7 laps. Can you imagine, yeah? 7 laps on well, you know, it's an RG.
It was Barry Sheen's old Suzuki.
750 Suzuki. Yeah. Because, I mean, imagine 7 laps on a TZ 750 or and them things were evil. And that, I think that was the days before there was a fuel limit. You could actually run as much fuel as what you could make a tank to go on.
Yeah, the massive
so these things have 8-gallon tanks. Can you imagine 8 gallons worth of fuel? That you made the tank yourself. Imagine that. All saltpeter. So
it's one of the best races, I think, for the TT. I mean, obviously winning it was great, but the race I think everybody remembers and still gets voted now as probably still the best race ever at the TT was me and Steve. When Steve was on the Norton in '92, and that we were sort of swapping paint for.
You were on a lot man.
Yeah, it wasn't the fastest thing in the world, but it was nice.
It's a nice thing, though.
It was nice to ride. It was a nice bike. It worked, and you know, I felt like I could do anything with it around there, which is quite rare really, until we're buying the handles around there. This did, it took us about all week to get it right. I'd never seen the bike until I got to the TT, it was the last minute deal I did. But yeah, I rode the wheels off the thing. Well, I was leading the first Superbike race by miles, and the gearbox went to just start the last lap of the bungalow. And then obviously we come to the senior TT. I hadn't won a race that week, and I had Steve, and the fastest two guys around that just then kind of went for it. And obviously he was on the ultra fast Norton, which probably would have been a bit difficult to ride. I don't know, I've never ridden one to be honest. But yeah, a hell of a race, and the bike was kind of falling apart around me on the last lap. It was all sorts of breaking on it. It was amazing.
I've never seen any video for you, but I've seen a lot of still pictures of you on that lap and Steve. You look completely out of control, I've got to say. You know, you wheeling cross up in a good tour, or you look to be trying now.
I was in full control all the time. No, I mean, yeah, I must admit, I've seen bits myself. I did push it hard. I mean, I remember the last lap when I hit rail, I thought I could do it flat the whole lot, and I did it on the last lap.
Down rail?
Yeah, but the top you used to have to shut off, and I just kept it pinned the whole way on the top, right down the middle, right through the bottom fly anyway. And it just went into this almighty tank slap on the top, and I just kept it pinned, and it just came out. And yeah, I pushed it hard that last lap, and I pulled, I think it was 8 or 9 seconds back on Steve, and pulled 4 back. And took the lap record, which stood for 7 years, but he obviously took the race with. But yeah, there was just things falling off it everywhere else. And the clocks weren't working, and bits of oil everywhere from the brakes.
The bike we looked at, it was Rob Mack's Loctite bike that I think probably Reimer had been, was it Reimer's year on it?
It might have been Rob's bike, wasn't that? Yeah.
It might have been Rob's bike, yeah. Rob was playing manager then for the Loctite team. And I remember, I got to know Rob really well afterwards, and Rob was never a massive Foggy fan, I've got to say. He's now, since she juggled stuff, but he wasn't for your racing. I think he's a bit jealous. But anyway, Rob Mack said that I'd never been a Foggy fan until he handed me that bike back in the Parc Ferme at the 92 TT, and he said, I looked at it, and I was embarrassed that my team had put it together. He says there was nothing left of it. And to his knowledge, he went through a list of stuff. He said, one of the fork seals had blown and there was oil everywhere. Because every time the forks went down, which is a lot there, it's blowing fork oil out, which was on the disc as well, which means the brake didn't work so well. No third gear, just gone, whatever. There was just a hole where third gear should have been on the way through the gearbox. Clocks had fallen off and were stuck somewhere and jammed in between the handlebars and the headstock and the front of the fairing. There was oil leaking out the engine. He said one of the worst things was the exhaust bracket had broken at the back, and every right-hander, the exhaust was jabbing on the floor, which is then blown through the collector box, which would then making a lot of noise. But he said the worst thing was one of the bolts had come out the sprocket carrier and had sawed its way halfway through the swing arm.
Didn't know about that.
So yeah. But
yeah, it was good to ride. It was nice to ride. It was still going well. But the funny thing was that when the exhaust had gone the last lap, I thought, yeah, the noise of the thing, but like accelerates up, sort of Ramsey up and up towards Gooseneck, and the noise of the bike, when it came out of Gooseneck, the noise of the thing was horrendous. I thought, oh, it's giving me such a headache. I thought, the faster I go, the quicker I get off this thing. It's killing me. It's just listening to the noise of it. So, which probably wasn't the wisest and cleverest thing I've ever done, really, but the bike kind of falling apart around me, just go as fast as I can to get off it because it was so noisy.
Yeah, you've got to be careful, Ireland, because you get any kind of gearbox issue and the gearbox locks, you're probably going to get away with it, Donington, as in you'll crash but you'll walk back to pits. Ireland, gearbox issue, oil in your tyre issue, or anything breaks on the bike, you're unlikely to be walking back. So you almost think more carefully about a bike falling apart when you're there, but obviously not in your case. In fact, we've got one of the stars of the show here. We've got the white Charger, the Norton, that your nemesis that day, Steve Islop was on. Do you want to hear it fired up? Yeah. Right, let's go then. I rode one of these rotis for the first time at the Classic TT this year. I was really surprised how nice it was. Absolutely flat torque curve. So you hold the throttle and that thing sets off. It's a beautiful thing to ride, really nice. And really light as well. That's not it.
Oh, he stole it.
So I understand, come on, we'll get ready for a quick word. Maria Costello on the white shark, ladies and gentlemen.
Feels pretty leg over it.
Tell me, I'm really...
That's really, he's my hero. I mean, you guys as well.
Thank you.
Obviously, yeah.
Steve Slot was my hero,
Yeah,
so that's...
So you, for a long time, you were the fastest lady around there, around 15-ish. What, it intrigues me, what in the first place makes, it's more acceptable now, more girls are racing bikes, and for me that's a good thing. We've got some good lasses coming through, both in, you've been mentioning a few in EJC, but also in British Champs, you've got some real good, like Georgina Polden and Sam Berman, but, and obviously Jenny, but what made you want to race bikes in the first place, and what then made you want to go racing out?
It's a good cook.
It was a long time ago. I think I've been racing 20 years next year. But basically, I had a road bike that I used to go to work on. And on my way to work, I got knocked off by a guy with dodgy eyesight. I got a compensation check.
You got what? How much did you get if you don't mind asking?
I think it was about £8 grand.
Oh, so you got,
Imagine how that was an awful lot of money back then. That set me up. And I went
And what did you buy?
RGB 250.
Oh, okay.
I had one on the road and I had one on the race bike. So I looked like a complete spoiled brat, but I bought it all myself.
And what, did you have an inkling that you were going to do the TT straight away, or is it something you went to watch and thought, how long do this?
I think when I was lying in hospital, that's when all that was happening with the Norton, and I remember that's why I kind of picked up on the Steve Slot thing, because he was so prolific in all the magazines and things, but no. And in fact, my mum said, if you start racing, you won't go to that Isle of Man place, will you? And I said, no, I won't.
And, did you mean it at that point?
Yeah.
And so what made you decide to go?
So, in my first year of racing, I got introduced to Sandra Barnett, who was the fastest woman at the TT. Her and her husband were putting a team of women racers together, and I joined that team. And the idea was that we did short circuits and also the Manx Grand Prix. And then we had this big launch party, and my mum was there. That's when the manager of the team got up and went, yes, we're all going to be racing at the Isle of Man, and my mum walked out. We didn't go down that long, we had to calm her down.
And you've been going ever since, and I see the TT for you, it's like it is with quite a lot of riders, there's almost, you never seem to be enjoying it at the time. It's almost, it's like climbing Everest kind of thing. You see these guys who are doing something really challenging. It's not good at the time somehow. You've got so much on your plate, and I mean, I remember racing there, and I was that nervous that I can't even tell you. But it's a weird thing, isn't it?
Yeah, I think I didn't really ever want, somebody recently was talking about this, I think it was Cameron Donald, and he was saying, yeah, it's hard to enjoy, it's not fun when you're there doing it. And of course, you did see me at a particularly bad year, I had a lot of bad stuff going on, but of course it's enjoyable and you love the time on the bike, but there's a lot of pressure I put on myself and I want to do well there, and it's the biggest road race, isn't it? It's just, there's nothing else like it, and yeah, you come home and you smile and you go look at my trophy and all my crutches.
And how much time do you actually spend on bikes now? So I know you do all sorts of track training, you run a ladies kind of bike group that's got massive.
Woman on a motorcycle. I think there's a few in here. Yeah, see? So that's a Facebook group and it's growing and growing, and from that I do women-only track days. And it's not really about going fast on the track. Yeah, it's just to keep you out there. Next year, maybe we'll have a men's group and you can come.
He's not allowed in a men's group. He's been medically checked and he could come to it. He could join your ladies one time.
So that's going really well, hopefully doing more of those next year.
And EJC, this is a European Junior Cup which they ride 650 Hondas now. Yeah, it is what they use it for, yeah. That's been running alongside mostly World Superbike meetings. And there's was there 4 girls in there?
Yeah, there were 4 main girls, and we had a British girl come and do a wild card at Donington. The championship's all been done now, but yeah, imagine, I mean, they're from 14 years to 24 years old. Imagine being 14 and racing at World Superbike meetings in this this one make championship, the fight was fantastic. They're all on equal machinery and they get to show their skills. And you have 4 girls in there. So they had, it's a boys' championship, but they have the girls' championship within it. So the girls get to race against the guys directly. Which
But then have their own.
yeah. And then, which is really great because it gives them, it raises their profile. And Avalon Biddle went on to win the championship this year. And I hope she goes back to, you know, try and regain that again next year.
And have we got any girls coming through that you think are genuine contenders? I mean, I don't mean that in a bad way, but are we going to see like a girl coming through that can win her own super sport?
I think, well, they've had some in the past, even the year before they did the women's championship. Guys, and she's a great lad. She's gone on, she's got a paid ride this year.
In which championship?
On the 600.
Right, okay. Stock?
Yeah.
Because is Stock 6, this is me thinking out now, I thought Stock 6 is going to join with World Super Sport, no?
Well, we're not sure what's happening in the future of it, yeah. Right. So definitely the European Junior Cup will be running next year with the women's championship. So we just want to really spread the word and get more girls.
So you'll still be going abroad and topping your talent at somebody else's expense, is that
I work very hard when I'm
Yes, I know that, I did too.
I've had this discussion with you before. You're not a fan of having girls, racing girls, are you?
No.
Really? But then in every other form of motorsport, like in trials, we have their own world championship, enduro, they have their own world championship, motocross, they have their own world championship. And yet in road racing, they don't.
Because
Find it out that, really.
I think there may be a place for it. I'm just worried that we'd end up looking like a bit of a sideshow because there's not enough of us.
But it will be after a couple of years, won't it? I think
think
motocross do really well now, I think.
I have actually been talking to somebody, because I'm obviously involved with the FIA and Women's Commission, and there are some ideas for a women-only championship with a really credible
Like I said,
prize at the end.
there isn't.
That's the point, there's got to be something really credible.
I don't like the way this is going, mate. I can see my guests falling out with each other. Because
I'm actually interested to know why there's women that don't have their own road race series when every other form of two-way motorsport they do.
Do you know what it's because? I think because...
Motocross trials, they're all got their own.
in fact, we won the trials the Nations women's event just
Yeah,
this
they're
last
very
weekend.
good. Amazing thing.
Well done. We've got the best lady trials riders in the world by quite a long way back.
Yes, yeah, awesome.
But I mean, as far as road
It's
racing
completely
goes,
equal terms, and I like it that way, and I think
Yeah,
we
that's
do need
fine.
to protect that still a little bit. You know, imagine if they had women-only racing, and I couldn't go to the Isle of Man. So, but it's not just about that. Obviously, I want to see women's racing progress, so maybe there is a place for it. It just needs to be credible, it needs to be real, it needs to, you know, rather than all the girls go and ride the bikes over there.
It's not just in bike racing, every other sport, golf, tennis,
it's not the-
football, they have their own world championship.
in road racing, there's no reason physically and mentally a lady can't be as fast or faster than a boat. There's nothing.
So why
there's
have a
nothing-
separate championship?
That's right, Lee.
So why
I think it's not equal. In fact, sometimes a good lady rider has a little bit of an advantage at some points because they're more promotable sometimes, and they are more of a, and it sounds awful, but they're more of a unique thing in the sport if you get good and you're a girl, so they sometimes attract more sponsorship for their ability than that. So I think equal
if
terms.
you asked all the women that are at the top of their game in their disciplines what they would want to do, they want to be competing against the men.
Really?
Because I've even met like women footballers from the best teams in the world. They want to compete against the men because
most of them aren't they?
second.
Just saying, right, you know.
No, that's true.
You would have to check them out because there would be someone scrupulous. There would be someone scrupulous, right? People, if you're a world championship road racing series for ladies, especially if there were money at stake, right, and kudos, there will be some foreign blokes. Oh, we got, right? Have a really close shave and try and money for themselves. Remember them flipping Russian shot pullers? That's all I'm saying. A lot of them on balls. Anyway. Right, I'll tell you what, I'm going to change the subject a bit.
Right.
What about the Rossi thing? What do we think? All right.
There we go.
Right, so my thoughts are, right, I'm a Rossi fan like the next man, and I hope he wins the championship this year. But he did actually start the incident that involved another rider falling down, so there had to be some penalty. There you go, on Marcus. I'll tell you what, if you're with him and if you're his wife, go outside, start the car, park it in. Because that man is all up. I'll tell you what I'm thinking as well. Is there going to be a massive anti-Rossi feeling in Spain? Remember, we're in Spain, and he says, so I don't know who might be. What's your thoughts on you chaps? Being experts.
I'm saying that this one too. I'm getting out tweets with guns at the end on the Twitter at the moment. I'm just like, you know what? I'm not sitting on the fence on this one, which I never do anyway, obviously. But I've not got to be kind of. A lot of people see the romance all this about the Rossi winning his last ever World Championship, probably, but I'm not. You can see it as what someone's done and someone's not done. And at the end of the day, this all started back in Australia. Yeah. He's lost the plot, no idea why. I've known, well, Rossi's been around for 20 years, he's always smiled and done his talking on the track. But why break that now after all these years and just lose it? And everyone's in Australia going, what the fuck is he on about? Yeah. Well, he's going, he's attacking Marquez, accused him of like helping Lorenzo. And both of them were embarrassed by this. And I have no idea where he's going with it. No. He helped in that point, so Marquez passed him on last half of the race.
He's always been good at the games though, hasn't he?
He's always trying a lot of games, so maybe this is a game.
So he started something which is totally out of character for him, which he just doesn't do. That's not his style. Why is he doing it? Maybe he's feeling the pressure. The other two guys a little bit faster than him. He feels like maybe he's getting an excuse now that he's going to lose a championship. I don't know, but he was so out of character what he did in Australia. Everyone was shocked by it. Himself, everybody said the same. So then he carries it on in Sepang in the press conference, right in front of Lorenzo and Marquez. Lorenzo and Marquez are just so embarrassed what to do. And he's just basically slagging them both off. So basically, he's created a situation. Marquez obviously getting wound up, but he handled it really well. I thought Marquez in the press conference said nothing. But inside, he's going, I don't want to beat him now. You know, so Rossi the same. Rossi wound himself up because he's done something he's never done before. And there's your uncle.
He did mean to knock him off, that's right. I don't think he meant to knock him off.
Due to his actions, he fell off.
Shout it up.
End of.
Yeah, go on.
If you rewind that lap where he came off, back to the start of that over the final corner before the start of that lap.
Yeah.
Coming out of the final corner, coming up to the start finish line, Marquez went wide and took Rossi out. He was actually on the pit lane entrance.
On purpose?
Well, if you look at
they were both going at it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he's saying that your point is that Marquez was just as culpable as some kind of damage. And I actually think until that incident, it was 6-1 and after was over.
Marquez was playing round his feet. Marquez was playing round his feet. He could have got it off.
So,
Once he passed him, he could have gone. He was a second a lap faster. He was a second a lap faster.
To wrap it up, have we got the mic? Have we got the mic? We did have a mic, and James was going to bring it out. So if you've got a,
you know what? I don't.
Look, Rossi fans are offload. if you've got a question, stick your hand up. We'll just do a 5 minutes of Q&A. It doesn't have to be on the Rossi thing, could be on anything.
Morgan, when you did the long track, can you make it T6 750 or put it on the road?
Oh yeah, well he's got a nice little flat tracker. Really nice one. We'll have a couple of questions. Got a couple of questions on the
other thing about that, I mean, if Rossi just stuck to his racing line and gone right instead of going left, he wouldn't have followed up, would he?
No.
He just kept sitting up, some pump down he goes. Whether he knocked him off.
Can he still win it though? Will he still win?
I hope so, yeah.
I think he'll still win it, if I'm honest. I don't think he'll win the race, but I think he'll win the championship.
Right, that's it, done. I'm sorry about that. We've got the mic now. Hang on.
He didn't do anything.
Yeah, hopefully it's working. It's for all three of you, but what's the best bike that you've ridden?
Best bike you've ridden? Best bike tends to be the one you do most winning on when you're racing. It doesn't matter if even now that bike would be a pile of rubbish because things have moved on. You always remember the bike you did most winning on. So me would be, I love that little super sport bike, Belgada by the R6. Lovely thing that was. It was a sailing ring and think, I've probably got the best bike in the race. I've never thought that in the class. Favourite bike?
My 20 years ago, my 95 916 Ducati, second year of the 916. Kind of ironed out a little teething problems around in 94. And yeah, same thing, I just make it sort of dance that bike, but make it anything I wanted all year. It was just great to ride. Loved it. 95 Ducati.
Mine's got to be my pizza race bike, my Super Twin. It is just so much fun. That I do actually have fun on.
Yeah, that's fast as well, isn't it?
Yeah,
That's a little rocket.
Oh, you've actually ridden it?
Yeah.
There's not many people ridden my
Did you stay on
bike.
it?
I know, it's absolutely.
I don't quite know what you're getting at. I've got another question just to wrap it up.
Okay, I think you managed to sidestep the Rossi thing very well after you started.
I think I messed up big time.
Carl,
Yes,
you drove it to racing, I think, in the past. And so have you. What about Rossi and Marquez? Sometimes sometimes you've got to do what you've got to do to win a race. And I always thought you won because you were extremely focused on what you were doing.
Yeah.
Are you still friends with Frankie Keane?
Yeah, very much so.
The question was, if you didn't hear, is he still friends with Frankie Killer?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. I mean, on Twitter I get so much, you knock Killy off. Actually, if you watch it back, I didn't knock off at all. I didn't do anything that led to his crash, but, you know, I've done things in the past that I'm not proud of, that I should be punished for. I've knocked Kaczynski off, I've cut myself off. I knocked Killy off actually in Brands Hatch, but again, it was accident. You know, I should have been punished for what I did, things, you know. If you're not, it's a line where you can't cross, you know what I mean? It really is. And if you cross that line, then you have to be punished. And the way Ross has been punished, I think it's really unfair because it's carried on to next round. By putting on back road grid, it doesn't make any sense to me because if he's been deemed to do something wrong, something dangerous, which obviously he has, that's why he's been given this penalty point thing, which I don't really understand. It should have been wrapped up and done in Sepang for me. He's knocked somebody off the scoring point, he shouldn't score points himself. I know it's, yeah, he should have, yeah, that's how it is. Well, it's crossing the World Championship, it's got to be black flag or stop. But, I forgot what I was saying.
Are you friends with Frankie Killer?
Yeah, what I'm saying was, sorry, but to carry on, but, so he's been up for dangerous driving now as Rossi. But it's made it more dangerous now by putting him on the back of the grid.
Yeah, that's dangerous.
It's just crazy. So he might knock somebody off coming through, or knock himself off. I just don't understand that. That's just stupid. But yeah, me killing, best mates love him.
Killing.
He's the most emotional person I've ever met. If you come in now and just burst into tears, it's so
really
genuinely emotional, honestly.
We were all passionate about racing. It was the most when you're racing a bike, you can't half do it. You're either committed to it or you do something else. And Killy loved racing his motorbike, very passionate, which is why he was a typical Italian and made some rash decisions at times and shouted a little bit at times. But because of that, he looks back on his career as he loved it all.
What a nice guy to have met.
What a nice. If you see him in a panic, he does a bit of commentating and we're in the panic sometimes. You see him, he gets within 6 feet of you, holds his hands out and starts crying. That's what he does, and he's on your shoulder. He's the loveliest man. The loveliest, spot on he is. Right, what?
What about Scott?
Oh, Scott Russell's gone a bit funny, you know. They can't really get him over to Europe to do anything. He's going into I won't say hermit, but yeah, hermit, yeah. He's not even come out. He's going to do a lot of Scott.
That last time I saw it was at Goodwood. I think when you crashed that bike. It was, but back in the day, yeah, but there was some characters back when well, there's characters now, but I think there was, I don't know, maybe as outspoken as there was back in the 90s with Doolan's and Kaczynski's and like Scott Russell, we're just animals really, we just all hate each other, we're brilliant. Now they're all good cyclists together these days.
You know what, I was privileged to be asked to do a Q&A, a big bike show with about 500 people, just like we are now, but with Kevin Schwantz. And Kevin Schwantz, all the hero man, I've met him a lot of times since. But I couldn't believe, when I got questioned him, how all the Americans, they were all Americans in that era, then he went into some Australians, but all your Rainey and Schwantz and Lawson and Spencer, Baldwin, they hated each other with an absolute passion. They hated each other. They all wanted to be top American, they all had massive egos, they all got paid a lot of money, and they hated each other. And he still goes on about that. He won't talk about Rainey. Because
Imagine that, the massive ego.
What time is it? Who's going to watch it?
I'm loving this now, I've got into it.
World Superbike, top 4 places, Brits.
Yeah, you know what, the funny thing goes out.
The question, he's on about top 4 for those in top 4 in World Superbike of Brits. Is this a good or a bad thing?
It's a bad thing for me, it really is. It really is a bad thing. Honestly, it should be a good thing, because there's 4 Brits leading the World Championship, but it's lost a lot of interest in public, TV. It's really struggling, and it's almost like the British Superbike is a World Superbike. It's an Australian versus an Englishman to win the British Championship. Hang on, 10 years ago, that was the other way around, and that's what, as good as what it should be, having a lot of Brits. It's not. You need the good guy, bad guy. When I was always be against some big mouth American, big mouth Aussie. It was like, you know, for the World Championship from different corners of the world, you know.
What, as opposed to you, but really quiet.
But they're all big characters who wanted to win, but I think the World Championship, which is a bunch of really nice guys, Brits, are all good mates.
Will Nicky Hayden's changed that slightly?
I think they need Nicky Hayden, and I think they need a fast Nicky Hayden, but I don't think he's going to be fast.
No, I don't think he's faster than what he was a couple of years ago. He's not been good at all. last
But
year.
we've got Brooks in there, we've got Factory Yamas in there this year. I think next year it will start to turn around, I think, and crowds might
You just
go
need
back.
that personality from America, Australia, to make it a world championship or a world championship.
Needs a villain.
A little bit, yeah. It does,
Yeah.
but it's that avarice, doesn't it? You know what I mean? Like Marquez and Rossi now, it's interesting, it was 4 Brits finishing top 4 places every weekend, and all go cycling together day after. It's a bit boring, really.
Oh, that happy up. Right, we'll wrap it up. We're back on here at 2 o'clock talking more shit, so, you know,